report and your presentation. But looking at it, it seems as if you're focusing almost entirely on the public sector and government to provide the solution. What initiatives have you taken to involve or engage the private sector? And I'm thinking of the Chamber of Commerce, the development industry, the real estate industry, the building trade, to try and promote the idea that they have a social responsibility to the population as a whole, and to involve themselves in this, in the finding of solutions.
So Charles Purdy was asking a question about the engagement of the private sector. The quick answer, not so quick answer, is that I did sit down with a number of people in the private sector during the early part of the summer, late spring and summer, when at first we were thinking we'd have one big meeting like this and haul everyone into a room, and then we thought it'd be more useful if I had 40 small meetings, which that's how I spent my spring and part of the summer, meeting with people from the business community, as well as from civil society, from government, and so on. I think there's a broad recognition, and you'll see quoted throughout the report a number of studies from the Toronto Board of Trade, from the Toronto Dominion Bank, from the Canadian Real Estate Association, from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, all recognizing that this is an issue that's not only important from a social perspective, but from a business perspective, that it's important for the economy to have good affordable housing, and that in fact it's a drag on economic competitiveness for Toronto and the global economy if it doesn't have a good supply of affordable housing. So there's that recognition. The other thing I just want to quickly spin out on this as well, and again I'll point to my old friend and colleague Harvey Cooper, that even in non-profit housing there's a lot of profit involved, because the builders who build the housing are private builders and they make a good penny out of it, and there are lots of other you know, this sort of notion that somehow non-profit housing totally exists outside of the for-profit world is not entirely true, that in fact there's a huge economic benefit, not just simply that gets absorbed within, say, the social housing sector, but which business organizations realize from these kinds of housing programs. And that incidentally was recognized by Scotiabank about 6 months ago, when they did a major report on jobs in Canada, and they said that in the last 4 or 5 years, the most vibrant section of the economy has been the construction sector of the economy, but because there's some uncertainty on the horizon about especially housing construction in the ownership side, there's some concern that we're going to be losing some jobs in that sector, and so now is actually a good time, according to Scotiabank, to be investing in non-market housing, hiring those people who are not going to be building the ownership housing, or as much of it, putting them to work building affordable housing.
I'm going to take a bit of a liberty here. There's been a connection in a number of the questions emphasizing how deep and interconnected the bases of homelessness are. And so what do we all do about it, or what's this report going to do about it? Now, this report does draw the conclusion, but the simple answer to what we're going to all do about it is the kind of community partnerships that are represented by everybody in this room. And that this interconnectedness and the big mobilization that has to happen to put this into action, that's down to all of us working together. So that's our commitment too. I mean, we hope this is a good action plan. We hope governments take it up, and we're going to be working to pressure them. But we know that this comes to life through everybody's work together. Now, there was a couple of more questions at the back.